connect, the way you know your audience, you would know better. And it's so much diversity in India that there is like, if you go to Rajasthan, if you go to Mumbai, you have to cater to different kind of audience in different way. You can't be like Delhi audience, for suppose, they might be mindful and they can spend some amount of money in buying some products. But if you go to other part of country, they will be thinking twice before buying one product. So not just you need to play, even content creators, you can, if you're talking about niche content creators, you can also look on tier 2 content creators. You know, they know your audience really well. You don't need to go like just the A-listers of influencers or content marketers. Even if the followers are less, that's okay. But they would know their audience well. And if you want to target different markets, as you said, you target like bookstagrammers if you want to reach out, you like book lovers if you want to reach out, you target bookstagrammers, and that's how it goes about. So you need to follow that path, picking up different influencers or content creators for different kind of content, like to target different kind of people. That's what I figure. And experts is a good word to say. And if you are passionate about one thing or one niche, I would say, you would always keep learning and keep updating yourself also and your audience also. You might not be expert right now, but you are on the journey. So that's what
I think I just learned that book lover is the wrong word, bookstagrammar is the word. So I feel like a dinosaur there. Oh, but thanks. I think another thing I've seen, at least from West, which I think we should learn, again, as a proudly Indian brand, I'm saying this, is the quality of production. Right? I think that, to some extent, I think they have cracked well. And I've seen that as a curve as well. Earlier, the production used to be high. Then it started looking artificial. Now it's to the lowest. I remember one day I walked in and the team was doing something like this, and then the other day they're dropping the, goggles and whatnot, right? That's still okay. I think that's passé, but at least focusing on the story, focusing on the production, etc. I think that is something one can always sort of pick up from.
I would say trends might come and go, but the authenticity of your content and generality of how you want to portray your product will always stay. And why you started the product, why you started a brand will always stay. Trends might just come and go and you will be part of it. It's just part of your plan, but not just the main that you have to rely on it. If it's a good storytelling, if you stand by your ethics, it's good.
And also I feel like it's very essential to sort of have a cause, especially in the times that we live in. If you have to tell a story, you have to tell it with a cause. If you want to sell your product, you want to promote your brand, it has to happen with a cause. Like, if, like off the top of my head, I don't remember any example, but if you look at it, the audience is so woke today that, like, as Haterrfly, as we also promote, we talk about women. We do entertainment news as well. We're like any other news platform, but we do it with a twist where we're telling them, oh, let's say the recent story that I did was about how the boycott brigade has been boycotting films just for the sake of it, and it makes no sense. Now we do that with the women's angle and say that, oh, they have an issue with what a woman is wearing. So we're giving them something more than just, acha haan ye story hai. I mean, there's, Adhan is being boycotted, that is the story. But I'm giving them a little more to it. So it's very essential that every brand offers something more and a cause. So that I think sort of brings on board like a lot of other people that might not be your TG as well.
So Abhishansa ma'am, according to you, how significant content creators have grown in the Indian market according to you?
So they have grown leaps and bounds for sure, and obviously there is a way to go ahead also. Like there's a long journey and there'll be many coming up. What I really understand is, as I said with local samosa, what I have understood, there's content for everyone and there's audience for everything. So in that matter, like you can't have one content strategy and one content creator for everybody in India. You need to have different content people, content creators, and targeting different content areas basically. So like different niche, different people, but if your whole idea of one content creator, one India doesn't work now, you need to target people accordingly. And if your if your audience is a buyer, you think they are your buyer, and you go in a way like segregate your niche, like explore more of different parts of country, different kind of people who are maybe working people is what something you are working on. Maybe there are people who are stay-at-home moms also. So you can explore a lot of things.
I think what I've noticed the most in the past 10 years of content creation is that everybody in the beginning started as as a passion, as a hobby, to share what they like. But today content creators are realizing that this is something that you can convert into a business, with obviously the influx of brands and the money being spent on influencers, right? So today when somebody gets in, you don't look at, okay, I'm just putting up a post, you also look at, oh, my production has to be good. So you don't need fancy stuff to become a content creator, but you need to know the basics of lighting, you need to know the basics of your angles and your backgrounds and all of that. So that content creators are concentrating on a lot, and I think those are also becoming more professional, right? That brands are looking to collaborate with, because they are looking at it as, oh, I'm creating something that's going to have a mass appeal on so many people, and then I have to convert it into a business, which also means how am I going to monetize it? Do I have to stick to a niche? Do I have to say the same thing? Do I have to, maybe do other interactive things with my audiences? So that has been a huge shift in content creation from the beginning to now that we are looking at.
I would also want to say one thing, like many content creators that I'm seeing these days are very commercialized, I would say. So in the process of content creation, I would say be genuine, be authentic, and do something like for the community. Like if I would say 8 set of content creators, if you don't just do this thing for your money, but do for your passion also. Like there are many who do this, like Viraj Hilani is one example, who make content, he's just authentic himself, right? And that connects well so much with the audience. So even if he puts up one story of a food place he likes, whether they paid him or not, it goes bombs. Like, they receive orders, they receive so many orders. So basically it's your genuinity, authenticity, how you portray yourself, and you just not just are working towards making it a commercialized project. That works well for them because audience connects them well.
I think as a brand, I just had a layer as a brand. I remember when in the start we used to say vegan bags on Instagram, and I distinctly remember one comment. It said, "Ab bags mein bhi vegan ho raha hai, to food mein hota hai." Right? Literally, it's happened. Right? To now, it's been the power of creators and influencers who've really taken that message of saying no. In bags, you can definitely adopt a cruelty-free option. Right? Now, that message for a young brand like us is very hard to put across. Right? I think the second is the amount of stuff we've learned from creators. Right? I think you all, at least our team knows, यार हमसे ज़्यादा better वो lighting कर रहे हैं, उनका content better है, right? Then we said let them make the content. I think they're far better than us at it, right? Our responsibility is to ensure that the brand language is continued, like you said, right? The brand, what the brand stands for, the cause continues, and then the creators create that. But I think we are just scratching the surface of creators in India, honestly, right? I think there's a lot more in monetization just from cost per post to saying, hey, can a line of products come which is in association with a creator, to revenue sharing, to so much more that's still out there. Today morning, another co-founder of another brand shared something very interesting to me from China. It says in China now, followers of social media started seeing that influencers are doing this for a payment, right? So now they're looking for even more genuine people, like the name you mentioned, right? That seems far more genuine, and now they're looking for, maybe it's the moment for people like me with so few followers that people trust me more than creators, right? But I mean, I'm just being wishful, but that's never going to happen, right? But I think over a period of time we'll get there to saying genuine content might win even further, right? So I think we're far away from it. I think right now more people are aspiring to be creators, right? From there, I think they'll become smarter and even figuring out the value of what they bring to brands. I think brands will start learning more and more. maybe instead of pouring dollars into Google and Facebook, they'll put more money into backing creators and influencers. That's going to change the game. And then from there, I think the next big thing will sort of.
That's actually happening. We've seen a lot of brands, reduce the performance marketing spends over the years because that's an ad in your face, and especially Gen Z don't like it. They don't like ads been throwing on their face, and that's why they use influencer marketing a lot more. And to talk about authentic influencer marketing, someone like a Pusha Kapila, for example, if you have seen her content when she does branded ads, it looks so authentic that you don't mind it being a promoted piece of content because she does it while she's doing her storytelling. She's not like, oh, here's an Olay product and buy it. She does her comic, style, whatever comedy she's doing, and in that it's integrated so well that you won't even come to know it's an ad, and that's what brands should aspire to do with content creators in their business.
Yeah, so you remove the product and the content still stays relevant. That's how it does. And I have also seen one thing that content creators are one thing, but I've seen brands also becoming content creators these days as we're working. So brands also work as they have a voice, they have an image, and they have certain kind of content. They're also following trends. They're also in the game basically how a content creator would create a content. I have seen many brands getting into the game, along with their influencer marketing activities and other marketing activities. They are also becoming you would know if this brand has a personality and they're talking like that, they're doing this thing. So I think brands are also now content creators.
I think the biggest example of that is the Good Glam group. They have acquired so many websites. They're constantly creating content to promote their own brand, which is My Glam. And they've acquired more brands to add on to that, the volume, and it's huge. And I think they've done it really well. If you look at their social media, it is so amazing. Especially Popix. So I've worked with them in the past, so I personally love their content because they are essentially using the trending content to then sort of make a joke out of it. So okay, they'll make a meme out of, say, Athia Shetty and KL Raoul's wedding pictures. They're going to make a meme out of it, or they're going to put out a tweet with something very cute, which are going to be like, oh, I relate to it. So they bring in the relatability factor, and then they're like, oh, there's also this product. So I think that makes it amazing. And like you guys rightly said, I think the authenticity of an influencer is also very important. If today Komal Pandey is promoting a product, I probably will not buy it, I probably won't look at it. But if at the same time it's Vagnita, that Indian chick, if she's in the middle of her rant about something is offering me a product, I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, maybe I'll give it a shot. So, definitely I think that works.
And I think adding one more layer, which maybe a lot of you might not be exposed to, but at least at a company level, right? We've had folks, so we have about 150 members in our Zouk, what we call Zouk family of the school, right? On WhatsApp. Some of the folks will share some content of some creators, right? We're surprised that this person is actually following this person, right? It's completely surprising, right? But the reason they share it is because we have a Zouk back in India. So we run something called as Zouk Spotted, right? Which has been doing well for us. We started off as, hey, let's see how many people can spot Zouk, right? Today the most, I send a message saying, "Kal office is time pe aana," nobody bothers reply, right? But then you share Zouk Spotted, 30 likes, right? Just like that. People are looking forward to that, right? So there's a connect beyond just followers, customers, business, etc. There's even this internal thing where people say, oh, this person, I know this person, अरे हमारे friend का मैं वो use करते हैं, and this is from top to bottom everybody, right? So at a co-founder level, we're looking at it. Even the most hard-working ops executive is looking at it and is excited, saying, "Yeah, इस brand में करने में मजा आया," right? Which has a completely different sort of tangential value to it, which none of us even assumed would ever happen. Right? So that's another layer that sort of gets
I
added.
have actually seen this happen live in front of me. I was at an event and there was somebody from Zouk, and then she saw a bag with somebody else, and they both spoke to each other about the same campaign that we spotted each other and then they spoke. So I think it's such a good campaign because it's a on ground level. It's not something really big. It's something that's connecting people with each other, and that is why such campaigns always stand out.
To add to that, I think there's certain campaigns we should definitely, as brands, should definitely avoid, because I noticed this, that during the time initially when Nightlam came out, they had this campaign where every single influencer they had on board would post the exact same thing, and it got so boring because you're constantly looking at the same thing and there's nothing personal about it. It's like brand mein haath mein thama di, script ye kar do, and it's that, and it sort of for somebody, for a person who's your TG will not like it. They're going to be like, "Hey, sab ek hi cheez kar rahe." There's no,
And it's also not authentic, because if you give a skincare product to one influencer, it's not applicable for all. And when you see them all promoting the same product, you know for sure that it's just a branded piece of content, because if you have oily skin, you can't use that skincare product. It is for dry skin, and then everybody's promoting the same. That actually, in the minds of the audiences, becomes something that's not authentic, and you can get a lot of positive reviews from influencers, but then audiences also take a step back when they see such things, so it can also backfire, which is why brands have to be very careful of what they are doing through influencers.
Also because somewhere people trust influencers because of the relatability factor, and when you see the exact same content everywhere, this is not relatable. There is no personal touch to it.
Exactly. So when, like, suppose the Bhagmita, that Indian chick, if she stops ranting and just says, please buy Zouk bag, nobody's gonna buy it. But in terms of if she's ranting and saying, okay, thanks to the Zouk bag, I'm going out and taking this, people might like it and buy it.
Definitely.
So the personalized thing is important. You can't just cut, copy, paste and give it to everybody.
Yeah, like I think if Bhagmita just goes on a rant like लड़कियों के बैग में तो इतना कचरा होता है, like honestly, personally for me that's so true. I have so much shit in my bag, it's crazy. So I mean, if she goes on a rant about it, then she's like, oh, there's a smaller bag and it's got more zips, maybe you can keep it more organized. I would definitely be influenced.
Yeah, giving
by
you an
that.
idea of
Yeah.
giving you a script and the content creator will log
Yeah.
I was looking at that person, notes taking.
Alina ma'am, what are your thoughts on the Indian Gen Z tech savvy content creators right now?
I think they are more woke, like they said, like they use the word. They know more, they are very well aware, and I think that the content creators resonate with the audiences much more because they are doing relatable content. They're not I have seen Gen Z say no to a lot of money if it's not part of what they stand for. So that you have to be very careful about, that these people are going to say the absolute truth and they're not going to stand for something that they don't believe in. This is what we've seen in Gen Z throughout, and they don't like ads, right? So, and we've seen that they don't promote things like it's an ad. So I think that is one thing that stands out between millennial and Gen Z. They will let go of whatever, but they are very woke, they are very well researched and educated about what they are talking about. And we, in fact, as a business, always look at Gen Z because they are the ones starting trends. And I don't mean just Instagram, Facebook, we also dive into platforms like Discord, for example, because they're very active over there. So if you have to do a gaming influencer campaign and you look at the way they're talking also is absolutely different from what they talk, their language and all. So you have to kind of understand them before you are doing something with them. I think brands have to be careful choosing them and also go into understanding what they are doing, like why are they talking in such a language? Will this help? Are they using Snapchat more? Are they using Discord more? What is it that we can do over there? Those brands are actually doing well, which understand the Gen Zs and their language.
I really don't get the lines.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I have to sit for hours when I was doing an NFT project and I was like, why are they talking in like, what are these words that they are using? But you have to understand them if you want them to use your product, promote your product, and basically communicate better.
I think when it comes to Gen Z, you have to be very careful when you are paying influencers to promote your product, especially because today everybody is an influencer. Just like every second person is an influencer. And Gen Z, while they're extremely passionate for their causes, there are a lot of them who are there just for the sake of it. So you have to be very careful and ensure that you pick someone who's passionate about what they're doing and not just there for just for the sake of it. So I think that's one thing that brands should definitely keep an eye on.
I think the trick I have done over here is that I have employed Gen Zs. I was like, now you guys decide for what everyone in the market is saying.
Exactly, we have few people from our organization who are Gen Z and we learn from them,
Yeah.
They'll go out and eat eat grass, and we'll be like, what does that mean? That means go away. I'm like, why? So actually during lunch sessions we have this, we call this person and say, please teach us what is this new word, you know, what is the new like science and everything they'll teach us. So they tell us what to do now. Like we tell them this is tell them this is our core, this is what we want to stand out. How you are talking to the Gen Zs now on you.
Yeah, one day in office, even we had this incident where they're talking to each other and saying wag me. And I was like, what the hell is wag me? Apparently, it's we are all going to make it. And I was like, we don't understand also these things that
Either
they're
it's
saying.
too long or either it's too short of the word.
I think in case you all have anybody who is willing to intern with Haterrfly, who's a Gen Z expert, we definitely going to need them because you know we have these moments with all of us, like the entire team is a bunch of millennials, and there are like this one 19-year-old intern that we have who's Gen Z ke naam pe dabba because we do not know anything. So we definitely need a lot of Gen Z to give us that kind of perspective.
So what I'm realizing is they might not be a dabba. They just feel that they're like the people who are in front of them don't deserve to know what these terms are.
No, I promise you, my intern is so innocent. She does not know anything.
That's so true. They're like, you're a millennial, you're a boomer. They look at you like, what?
I think Gen Z also has the habit of looking down upon Gen X and millennials and boomers. They're just like.
They make me feel old. I'm not.
I think that they are much smarter, they are much more aware of what is happening. In terms of opportunities also, they are faster than millennials to get it because they know here I have so many opportunities and I can do so many things and I am in demand. That's the kind of language we get from the Gen Z. So I think that it's a positive thing to be sitting and learning from them of what is the new things and the new trends that they are doing and looking upon, because then the rest will follow.
I do agree, while they have like a lot of things to offer us, a lot of perspective, and I think they bring like this fresh out of the box view to things, which is amazing. But at the same time, I also personally feel like majority of Gen Z, they're just like keyboard warriors. They're not going to go beyond down out there and do things, and that's where I feel it's kind of lacking.
I think it's interest based. If you know where the interest is, they will go out of the keyboard everywhere to do it. It's just they're very different from us, so they think in a different way. And if you try to understand how they are thinking, you'll be able to benefit from that.
So they have a lot of there are new areas that they are exploring and that we really don't know. I like there are many zones, there are many things that even when they are talking about movie marketing, they have a whole new perspective of movie marketing. Like why do they have normal script? Why they are not following this kind of like we will accept a Bollywood movie like a Bollywood movie as we have always done. Now they pinpoint, oh my god, they're not talking about ethnicity. This person is from Hyderabad, they're talking just simple Hindi. How they're talking in Hindi? They are from Hyderabad, they could know at least the little words. So they are pointing out different things that we really didn't think about earlier, that these things matter, that ethnicity matters, they are from which area they are, who they are supporting. So I think minute things, they are going deeper, maybe understanding a lot of different things which we actually didn't. So there's a lot to learn from them, and there's a lot of new things, like even these new things like NFTs, metaverse, everything. They are more keen on learning. If there's Korean drama, they would know more, better things to know, and that's on the trend. And we are learning, and I have seen we see these people watching Korean movies, and then we'll go okay, research more, and it's actually a hit. A lot of people, lot of viewership comes from Korean drama. So and at the end, if you get to know, these are the people who are following certain kind of niche, and we promote like as a brand, or even content publishers, if we see okay, this is the top points, the major top points of this time, we will also benefit in terms of marketing to these audience, creating content for these audience.
I was trying to see which jargon I'll understand. Luckily, Korean drama is something I can do. I think I'm still thoda better, right? Not so far behind. But